What's up, YouTube? 1010 here, and today we will be discussing the next time on Death Battle between Weiss Schnee, if I'm pronouncing these names wrong, forgive me, and Mitsuru Kirijo. I think that's how you pronounce it. Do forgive me if I'm saying it wrong. But anyway, before we get to that, let us discuss the last time on Death Battle. And boy, I called it. I picked some very poor choice of words in that video. So in conclusion, I am putting all my money on Ben. This is the most confident I have been of any prediction. So I'm probably wrong. Oh, that was not my best choice of words. And yeah, I was wrong. Ben lost hard. I severely and completely underestimated Hal Jordan. I was right to some extent. I knew that Hal beat every other alien with a very little shadow of a doubt, except for Alien X. He was the only alien that could probably beat Hal. And if Alien X couldn't do it, I figured Ben would lose. And Alien X couldn't do it. Hal won, and based on what I know about Hal, if I'd made the prediction like the day before yesterday, I probably would have changed my opinion. Because I saw like the Screw Attack G1 guys and their whole prediction. And by the way, I will be linking that in the description because it is such a good analysis on what both Ben and Hal are capable of. And I really enjoyed what they said about the characters. They analyzed every single alien Ben has. All 63 that's been on screen. And I super respect that. And they go into super deep details on Hal. They do a great job. And some of the guys that work on Death Battle originated from this group. So I honestly have to agree with the results because the results of the Death Battle in the episode itself were pretty fair. I think they were really fair to Ben. They gave him master control, which they didn't have to do. They gave him access to fully unbound Alien X, full control, and he just couldn't win. And I know some people had some issues with the animation. Some big Ben 10 YouTuber, I believe it's Kuro the Artist, he's made an official statement and saying the episode's wrong and stuff, and I disagree. I really do. I think Hal Jordan really easily handles Ben. I know people are trying to say, well, the Omnitrix could react to the arm cutting off thing, and I'm like, yeah, Vilgax did it once. He cut Ben's arm off once. Sure, it's technically set it to a separate dimension, and Ben technically didn't die from it. But, if you could probably realistically cut off Ben's limbs, and that would pretty much separate him from the Omnitrix. Sure, there's the argument that the Omnitrix could react to that and stuff through, the failsafe, but the thing is, the Omnitrix, people, I think, are overestimating its durability. The Omnitrix is not flawless. The Omnitrix has been busted. The Omnitrix has been broken before. Ben accidentally, broke the lid off it once. Ben's damaged it before, and it's been thrown out of whack. The Omnitrix isn't perfect, guys. And the Omnitrix can be damaged. And I feel someone on Hal's level who's fought literal gods, deities, dimension destroyers, reality warpers, planet busters, universe busters, everything in the book, Superman. Hal's fought enough people to where I think Hal's physically strong enough to destroy the Omnitrix. Hal could most certainly, in my opinion, break the Omnitrix if given the opportunity. Now, and so even with certain things, yes, Alien X has done a lot of stuff. However, when you look at it, a lot of Alien X's feats are pretty one note, honestly, because Ben uses Alien X, 5 times? Once in Alien Force, once in Ultimate Alien, 3 times in Omniverse, and that's it. Unless you count the final episode, but that's just a cameo. He doesn't really use him. He transforms into him for 1 second when all the aliens are flashing, but it's not. It's not. He really didn't use him. It was more feedback than anything. And while Ben absorbing the Big Bang is cool, Hal's seen worse. Green Lanterns can survive retcons, as shown through, I believe his name's Kilowog, the big, broody, hippo-looking lantern. I know him from the show, I just can't remember his name. He survived a literal writing retcon. Them literally, resetting the universe and changing everything. Kilowog, survived that through sheer willpower alone. And considering Hal at his best has more willpower than the entire universe combined, he most certainly could survive Alien X trying to erase him from existence. So with that in mind, what's Alien X going to do? Punch him? He survived punching from Superman, and we don't know how strong Alien X is. We've seen bare minimum estimates. Like, he's a deity, so he has to hit strong, but we don't know. It's generally accepted he's the strongest alien Ben has, and like the fastest alien Ben has, and all that, but we don't know. And one thing I really like that they said is that yes, Ben is kind of always on the back foot. Ben can only be one alien at once. And I know someone's gonna bring up the whole Echo argument thing, but yeah, where like Ben could turn into a bunch of Echoes, turn human, and then turn into a bunch of different aliens. Well, one, if those aliens aren't Alien X, they don't matter. Hal can kill every other alien Ben has with relative ease. Hal has the stats to do it. And sure, he could turn into a million Alien X's. He could do that anyway as Alien X. Like, it honestly doesn't have a purpose. He can be hundreds of Bens, doesn't change the outcome. Like, it honestly doesn't. Like, Hal Jordan's still strong enough to deal with it, and Hal can just summon the lantern and get the power back. And you can say, well, Ben could just reverse time. Hal can do that too. Hal could go back in time like he did in the fight. And I noticed one thing, like Kuro said, that annoyed me a bit, was how he focused way too much on the animation, and the animation is not meant to be taken literally. It is just a cool visual thing for fans to watch and enjoy. So any criticisms of that really aren't valid, because it's just supposed to be a cool, flashy show thing. It's not supposed to be like the actual analysis on like a visual fight. It's supposed to be just a fun little thing to show a character, like to build tension, show expectations, avert expectations, yada yada. It's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be a, this is how it would go every time, like hardcore thing. No, it's supposed to be like a little animation. I've said this before, I'll say it again. If you're going to judge the death battle, judge the research, not the animation. And as someone who's aware of what the research team on Death Battle is like and seen some of the research before, I agree with the outcome. I really do. I know some people won't, but I'm going to link the G1's blog post in the description so you guys can look at it and, you know, come to your own conclusions. Death Battle, at the end of the day, is opinion-based. It's ultimately the creators of the show's opinions based off the research they do. Like, with my show as well. Like, through the 11 episodes I have of it, all those fights are my opinion. After doing the research and after trying to judge both combatants as fairly as possible, I try to come to a fair result for both characters. And could I have been wrong in some of the episodes? Maybe. I don't think I was. I don't think I was biased. I tried to be as fair to both characters as possible. But you never know. I could have overlooked something. And if someone was there to make a debunk video, I would take the criticism in good faith. Because let's think about YouTube. For a long time on YouTube, I used to make a bunch of old videos. I never got criticism. I never got comments. I never got likes. The thing about criticism I've learned is you want someone criticizing you. You want someone telling you what you're doing wrong. Because the people that are telling you what you're doing wrong are your best bet for what you need to do to figure out what to do right. The people that love you and are your friends, they're not going to generally point out your flaws. The people that hate you, they'll point out every flaws. The person that hates you the most is your best critic. Anyway, that real-life advice aside, let's go on to the next time. Between Weiss Schnee and Mitsuru Kirijo. I believe that's how you pronounce their names. If I'm wrong, please forgive me. Now, going into this, I know a decent amount about Weiss. Don't know much about Mitsuru, though I have done some borderline research and checked a bunch of the Death Battle fan-made ones and blogs and her Wikipedia, of course, and some sources that I think were valid enough to give me some decent information on her. So I know stuff about her, but I'm not 100% on anything, and if I get anything wrong, do forgive me. Now, I know stuff about Weiss. I know she has her sword, her rapier, that has, like, a bunch of, like, pretty much like a gun thingy, where it can, like, put a bunch of magical dust in that, and it'll shoot, like, fire, ice, electricity, darkness, light, some crap like that. I know she has her glyphs, which you can use to, like bounce around the battlefield, like, run up walls, like, fly, boost her speed and stuff. I know she has, like, her summoning thing she can do, where she can summon enemies, though I know Weiss's summoning in the show kind of sucks. Like, Weiss's summoning has almost never been very useful from what I've seen. Like, she can summon these night constructs. She summoned, like, a wild boar. She summoned a giant bee. Though, Weiss's constructs were never really that busted or crazy. Like, sure, she can summon all of her things, but, like, most of them have never really been that impressive or taken down anyone too crazy. Like, the wild boar doesn't even fight anyone. The giant soldier, like, beats some giant bees. And the giant bee, impaled Hazel through the chest that one time in Volume 5? I think that's about it, unless she did something in Volume 6 that I'm not aware of, because I dropped Ruby after Volume 5. Volume 5 was bad. Ugh. But anyway, my distaste for Volume 5 aside, Weiss, as far as I'm aware, her summoning is cool. However, it's very flawed in the fact that Weiss needs time to do it. And, like, I don't think her opponent will give her the time. Like, Weiss' summoning, it can take, like, multiple seconds. And as far as I know about her opponent, Mitsuru is not going to give her the time to summon. So her summon, and even if she does, I feel she could probably beat her summons. Like, her summons are not exactly crazy impressive. It's not like no Ben 10 aliens. She can't summon no forearms or anything. Now, onto other stuff Weiss has. I know she has her aura. I know aura is a thing in Ruby, though I've always noticed, and fans often point out, that Weiss, generally speaking, probably has a lower amount of aura than most characters. Like, Weiss has shown she cannot take a lot of damage in fights. Like, she's essentially an ice princess, so being dainty was kind of, inevitable. But Weiss' durability has never been the best, and it's also been stated, I think, that she has low pain tolerance, or at least it's implied she does. So that's not necessarily good. And Weiss also struggles from being a team fighter, to where she's generally fighting with allies a majority of the time. Sure, she had combat training and all that, but in, like, actual real-life deadly situations, Weiss has almost exclusively fought with a team. And the time she hasn't, she lost to a random grunt wielding a chainsaw. She lost to that. It's like, Weiss, why? Why do you suck at fighting? I know that's been a common complaint about Weiss. Like, a common complaint. Like, why does she suck at fighting? Like, I know, like, Max a Few Trades, especially, someone who works on Death Battle, has pointed this out multiple times, that Weiss sucks at fighting. And considering she's in this show, that is not a good thing for one of the main researchers to be saying about you before going into this. That's not a good thing. Though, in notable feats, she has fought Grimm for a whole day. She has fought some of Salem's minions and fought, like, somewhat powerful Grimms before, so she's not incompetent by any means. No, Weiss can definitely fight, though, like, going against higher tier characters, I feel Weiss would severely struggle. And looking at her opponent, I did some basic research. Mitsuru, from what I'm aware, like, the thing that binds these two together is they're both daughters of people that own companies. They're daughters of CEOs. And they both use ice as a primary weapon, and they both have rapiers. Though Mitsuru has multiple different weapons, like swords, blades, knives, I think, at one point. Like, she has a bunch of stuff. And from what I know about Persona, from my limited knowledge, well, my friend Vinfrost, he's a Persona, like, maniac, so he knows a lot, so he's told me some things. Personas are kind of busted from what I've heard, and Mitsuru specifically is from Persona 3, and the Persona users of that game specifically have personas that are generally considered to be better than most other personas, because they, like, upgrade themselves through hardship or something like that. And, like, so she has a top tier persona, and that's scary, because her persona, like, I believe it has, like, this giant chain ball, like, mace thingy she can swing around, like, use as a whip and stuff. I know she has a basically near ice immunity, what I've heard, and ice is pretty good immunity considering you're fighting Weiss Schnee, who's called the Ice Princess for a reason, and she uses ice primarily in her attacks. Though, to be fair, Mitsuru is also weak to fire, though Weiss would not be aware of that. And sure, her dust could maybe do something, but, like, she has a limited amount of that during the fight, and Mitsuru has healing spells. Because of course she does. She can just heal up, meanwhile Weiss is kind of stuck. And once Weiss runs out of dust, she's kind of screwed in that regard. Let's see, she's been trained by, like, people in military situations. That's what Mitsuru's done. She has ice magic, she has resistances to light and dark-based magic, she has superhuman speed, strength, durability, whole 9 yards. She has a motorcycle, and she has a persona, who I'm not going to try to pronounce, because I don't think I could. And with the persona there, it's essentially a 2-on-1 fight. And Weiss already isn't good at dealing with just one opponent. I mean, she got her butt handed to her by Vernal. I don't think Vernal could beat this lady, honestly, I don't. So, not looking good for Weiss. Let's see, this lady's also tanked bullets to the face. Mitsuru has. She's tanked bullets to the face, apparently. She can apparently dodge lightning, bullets, and apparently she's fought like really fast Persona users. And let's see. She has shattered solid ice with one stab of a rapier, which, if we go back to the Renamon versus Lucario episode, it was like 6,000 pounds per square inch or something to do that. Oh, I feel like it'll overwhelm Weiss pretty easily, honestly. She was also a valedictorian, random fun fact. Go you, Mitsuru. She has more experience than Weiss does. She's even older than Weiss. She's 20 in Persona 4. As far as I'm aware, and Weiss is what? 17, 18, something like that? So she's not exactly... So, she's not exactly old. So, Mitsuru does have more experience, even if it is only slight. And Mitsuru's greatest issue is that she is kind of cocky. But, I mean, Weiss is also a little cocky, though that's definitely lessened over time. It's almost lessened into... Weiss is not exactly confident in her abilities sometimes. And that can be concerning. Sure, Mitsuru's cocky, but she has a right to be cocky. her powers are busted. She can heal. She has magical spells that can buff her own stats. She has spells that can, potentially, a kind of hypnosis charm on people. She has resistances to ice. She can lower a foe's resistance to ice. She can drain energy, rogue style, out of people. If she has some kind of stupid ultimate attack that does a crap ton of damage. There's all kinds of stuff. Well, Weiss, her arsenal is rather limited, and Weiss herself isn't exactly a great fighter on her own. So I hate to say this, but I think this is a very much blowout in Mitsuru's favor. Especially since Mitsuru's story is over. Weiss, hers isn't. Volume 6 just ended, and yeah, Weiss helped them fight a giant robot. And, some Grimm. That was it. She's done. It's not like that's new. She fought Grimm she fought a Grimm for a whole day one time, which you could say, well, that's endurance. I mean, sure, but the Grimm aren't exactly smart. They're not exactly trained fighters, and they were some low tier Grimm too. So it's not exactly all that impressive. And Mitsuru has beaten more powerful opponents, as far as I'm aware. Weiss, in my opinion, is utterly screwed. And unlike with Ben 10 and Lantern, I've looked into both characters. This isn't a blind, chuck in the dark. I'm not chucking on something in the dark hoping to hit a target. No, I know a decent amount about Mitsuru. My friends made sure of that. I think Weiss is gonna die. And while I'm not against a Ruby character dying, I really hated Volume 5 if you couldn't tell. Oh, that was trash. It was such... Oh, I could talk about bad Ruby writing all day. I really could. Because I have some nitpicks with that show and how poorly they handle it a lot of the time. Still an alright series. Still you can watch it. Though, as someone who wants to be a writer, Ruby's bad. It's really bad. Woo, it's bad. So, no offense to the guys who make Ruby. I'm sure you guys do good work. You love your show. But hire a professional writer, please. Please do. Volume 5. Oh, there's so many videos out there, 100 teleports around the screen. They talk about how the characters always teleport around, how poorly paced the fight is, how they constantly cut away. Now the only, worthy fight of that season was Cinder versus Raven, but, both of them, their voice actresses aren't the best at times, and both of them are kind of nothing characters at points. But it's ooh. Luckily for Weiss, she might not be the best fighter, but in my opinion, she's the best damn written character in that show. And she has that going for her. I like Weiss. I do. She's a likable character. She's a sweet little ice lady who has a temper. She's likable. She is. Though Mitsuru seems more, combat focused in my opinion in terms of what she can do. She has more experience, obviously, and her journey is essentially over, while Weiss's is still going on. And Mitsuru has fought, and I've heard she's fought gods or something. So there's that. Weiss hasn't done that. And I'm sure Death Battle would have other information. They probably know about some stuff in Volume 7. But, I mean, they probably would have the inside information knowing what Weiss will be capable of down the line. But I don't think that's really fair to Mitsuru because, that she hasn't done that yet, so it's not exactly fair. And I know people are going to bring it up, so I'll address it. Is Death Battle Ruby biased? Because they do work for Rooster Teeth. Will they just let Weiss win? will they biasly make Weiss win? A lot of people are scared they'll do that. Or they're scared that Rooster Teeth will force them to do that. Yang versus Tifa is a fight I agree with, though I can see Tifa winning that, and people generally think Death Battle was biased for Rooster Teeth and let Yang win. That's a common opinion in the Death Battle circles, and I don't agree with it. I don't think they were biased. I don't think they were. I doubt Ben and Chad would be. But that's an understandable concern. I don't think Death Battle would be biased, though if Weiss does win, they better have some damn good reasons why. Because there's few episodes of Death Battle I have any issue with, though if Weiss wins, unless there's golden logic that's unfallible, I will probably make a response video to it, because Mitsuru seems like she's got this in the bag to me. She really does. I mean, this is me we're talking about, and I'm clearly an idiot, so you never know. I mean, I thought Ben had it easily, but I was wrong. So I'm never 100% with these, and you never should be with anything. We are human beings, we are flawed creatures. But for this episode, I'm pretty confident, and I'm putting my money on Mitsuru. And I'm still probably pronouncing that wrong, knowing my luck. But anyway, guys, what do you think? Who do you want to win this death battle? Are you putting your money on Weiss, or are you putting your money on Mitsuru? Leave it in the comments below. This has been Tinton. Peace.